What's going on, y'all? This is your boy El Shay, man. I'm out here in Old Town, and I just want to change the scenery real quick and kind of share some light as to why China mistreats some Africans, especially those who are in mainland China, and even some cases of these people in their own country. I heard the Advice show make this particular story about these Africans that showed up at a hotel in the city, and because one of them committed a crime, they were not allowed to book a hotel. Any Ugandans, Kenyans, and Nigerians. And Phil from the Advice show, I've collaborated with him a few times, he made the case that if they are going to refuse African service, then Africans need to do the same thing to China and Africa. And it does sound like this makes sense because this is an eye for an eye or tooth for a tooth type of thing. But I'm gonna have to disagree with Phil from the vantage point of that, because a lot of people don't understand. And what he's saying, it morally makes sense, but a lot of people don't understand. Had not China came to Africa or come to Africa, you would have almost 60% of people in sub-Saharan Africa still living in poverty. And we got to be honest about that. Number one, China saved Africa. I'm gonna say it again. China saved Africa. Not only with the case of not letting the French and the United States and the UK stick African countries with a lot of IMF and monetary loans and stuff like that. China gave to Africa the ability to have low interest loans. China was the only major country that wanted to come in there and bring infrastructure to Africa, and things like this. So when you really look at the mistreatment that these guys are getting, and I mean, obviously, I've been mistreated in Poland myself, but at the same time, you cannot discount how important China has been in Africa. You can't miscount it. The fact is that all of the resources that countries like Uganda has, countries like some certain cases Kenya, and even Nigeria. Nigeria has its own problems, but Uganda and Kenya, they don't even know how to produce their own natural resources to even export them out. You got to understand that they don't have the skill set to even benefit off of what they have. China was the only people that really came in and tried to establish industry there. And you got to also understand that I got to blame those particular countries as to why their people are having to go to China. Let's look at some of the other countries. Let's look at Botswana. Botswana was also underneath the same situation underneath the British. You don't see Botswanans having to leave and go to a lot of different places. Botswana has very little corruption. Okay? You've looked at other countries that have succeeded from British rule. India's doing pretty good. India was a British colony. I mean, Indonesia, which was from the Dutch, they're doing pretty good. There are other countries that have come up out of, even look at Qatar, which was one of the poorest countries in the world, and they had oil. Look at now look at Luxembourg. All these places at one point were at the position of where Nigeria is, or where Uganda is, or were poorer than they were at some point. And they put it within themselves to not be corrupt, not have these issues where their people are out here begging, where their people are going to be forced to go to China and do certain things. Now, we also got to be honest about Africans when they do go to places. And I'm not trying to say that, all of them shouldn't have to be suffering, whatever, but we do got to be honest that a lot of Africans that do go to these places can cause problems. I live in Poland. Okay, Africans cause problems in Poland, in Ukraine, because you got to think of what kind of blacks go to China. And I'm just being honest. Your more talented blacks will end up in the United Kingdom, or they will end up in the United States. The other ones that can't get in go to China by force. Because you think about it, if you're a black person in China and you go to China, you can't even get citizenship. Your child, if you have a baby there, you can't get citizenship. You know, you can't get a bank account, stuff like this. So this is the issue. This dog about to bite the hell out of this damn other dog. So what kind of Africans are going to China and living in China? Typically, probably not the best ones. So again, I'm not trying to justify the reasoning of what happened, because yeah, it's wrong for you to not, you know, refuse service to anybody because somebody did. I mean, that's stupid. But you also got to understand this: Africa cannot afford to try to kick the Chinese out of their countries. Okay, Africa cannot afford to want to have an eye for eye. They're not in any position to do that. Again, it is China who is saving Africa's ass right now. It is China that is bringing roads. It is China that is bringing skilled labor. It is China that is basically allowing exports and imports to go out because they're developing things for the continent. And this is something that a lot of people don't want to give China credit for, of what they are doing. China is giving Africa the opportunity, like I said, low interest loans. Like the whole war in the Ivory Coast started because China was going to build them a bridge free. And the French didn't like that, so they started to, you know, see, China is really getting the West out of Africa as much as it can. Now, they are putting themselves there, but they are coming to Africa with a much better deal than the West is. And what Africa's got to understand is China has the money. So I could care less about Chinese are mistreating people in their country, or what China is doing in Africa is better than what white folks are doing in Africa. Poverty's going down, the middle class is coming up. You know, economies are growing in certain places 4 to 5% a year. I mean, I don't care what you have to say, Akila. These are the truths. And the truth is, China is doing a much better job than what any of the British colonies did for Africa. And China is doing a better job than what the diaspora is doing for Africa. And see, this is the question that I have for you guys who are in the diaspora. What are you doing for the continent? Again, what skills can you bring to the continent? Many of you guys have no absolute skill in road construction, in anything that builds infrastructure, whether that's internet, whether that's engineering, whether that's anything that improves roads, anything that improves designs. This is what China brings to the table. African Americans, we don't bring that to the table. Let's stop here. Let's stop lying and acting like if we go to Africa, we can change roads, we can change sewage systems. See, the Chinese diaspora, when they come out, you know, their government is supporting them to start business in Africa. Okay? China saw something in Africa that African Americans didn't even see in Africa. I mean, when I was in Ethiopia, I was in Ethiopia going to Uganda. Do you know how many African Americans were on that flight? 0. My flight going from Addis Ababa to Kampala, or Entebbe International Airport, was almost 75% Chinese. So what I'm saying is the Chinese have done something that Black Americans haven't done, that Nigerian Americans haven't done, and that's a whole nother story. They have done something that blacks have not done, which is invest and put their best people over there to build infrastructure. And that infrastructure is actually causing other companies to want to invest in China. See, what China is doing in Africa, it's causing other countries to want to come in. Because I'm telling you like this, no national business, if you have civil war and unrest. And this has been happening in Africa. I mean, you can go look at all the countries. Kenya and South Africa are the only two countries that have never had any civil unrest. But if you look at Uganda, my God, they had Milton Obote, Idi Amin situation. Milton Obote first, military coup, Idi Amin. Then they had the Ugandan Bush War. Then they put out all their Asians. You understand? You know, Tanzania had its problems. It was dealing with communism, not even a capitalistic idea. Ghana and its issues. I mean, come on, Nigeria, come on. I mean, how many? I mean, listen, the Buhari took the country over in 1983. Obasanjo, Sani Abacha. I mean, come on, look at all the political instability that's happened in these countries. Zimbabwe. Many times these countries were left in decent, you know, some sort of decent positions, and they were destroyed. Liberia. I mean, you have children in Liberia in the ninth. You have people that's 20 years old in the 7th grade. Can't even read or write. So, I mean, I don't think that anybody in Black America or Africans can talk anything about China. I mean, we got to really look at the impact that China's having on the continent, and then we got to really take a look at ourselves and say, as Black Americans, why haven't we taken advantage of that? And see, that's something that we can cry racism about. But the thing about it is, he who has the gold makes the rules. If a country is poor and you can't develop your own infrastructure, and I can develop it for you, and I'm gonna come over to your country, I'm gonna treat you like shit in your country, and if you come to my country, I'm damn sure gonna treat you like shit because you don't know what you're doing. Now, I know this sounds rough, and a lot of y'all not gonna be able to deal with this, but that's how the Chinese look at blacks. That's how they look at Africans. Would you respect anybody that can't produce their own stuff? Does that make any sense? You have all of these natural resources. You're in no position to produce them. Nobody in your diaspora can extort them or make them. So if I have to come over and do it for you, now I'm gonna treat you like shit. I'm gonna treat you like I think you're a little bitch. So if you come over to my country, you're looking at you as you're poor, as you're desolate, as you're. Why would I look at you as any different? Because I'm in your country. I'm making more money in your country than you are in your own country. You have to come to my country. You're totally incompetent to me. And that is how the Chinese look at blacks. And the answer is to not say, well, you ought to kick them out of your country. I mean, that's the best way for Africa to go backwards. What Ugandans and Kenyans and Nigerians need to take out of this situation is, okay, you see how there is. I need to go back to the drawing board and make sure that I never get mistreated like this ever again. I need to do for self. And this is what Africans and black people really need to understand, is that this is how the world not only sees Africans. Because see, in America, white folks see you the same way. See, I know y'all not gonna like this message today. Y'all not gonna like this message, but see, we're not far off the block. Because when them Chinese people come and set up, and Koreans set up stores in your neighborhoods, and set up stuff, and you can't set up your own stores, and you can't set up your own events, what respect would anybody have for you, Negro? Nobody has no respect for a group of people like that. And then you want to get mad when they mistreat you. Well, how should they treat you? You know, they look at you as if you are a little hoe. And that's pretty much the fault of us. I mean, you know how much corruption, I mean, go look at the corruption index in these countries. You know, countries that are easy to do business, countries that have open economies and stuff like that. We'll look at countries that were poor like Taiwan, countries that are doing good like Singapore. You know, all of these countries have a very easy to do business ratio. It's easy to set up international trade. They bring business over, the taxes are low, the import products are low. Look at a country like Uganda. To even bring over a new car, import taxes are high. Now think about this. You have the poorest country in the world, one of them. You have the opportunity where you can import cars over, but you want to make it where it's like $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 or $8,000 more to import a car. because the government is corrupt. So let's make it hard to do business. This is how Africans think many times. Brazil has this problem too. So, you know, when you don't have the ability to develop because you're not increasing free trade, the economy gets stagnant. You know, you have a brain drain, your best people leave. Yeah, they might send a little remittances and stuff like that, but nobody wants to come back and work there. See, a lot of corruption that's happening in African countries that have more, like for example, Switzerland has no natural resources, but the corruption's small. Look at Rwanda. Rwanda is a jewel in Africa. No natural huge resources, but doing way better than any of them countries. We're in the diaspora. You Ugandans who are abroad, you Nigerians who are abroad, you Kenyans who are abroad, this is your people that are having to go out and do different things because y'all can't get it together. So I can't really blame the Chinese for how they treating y'all. I gotta blame you. I gotta blame you. And I gotta sit this L in your doorstep. I gotta sit it. And all you African Americans that have any problems with how China is mistreating those blacks, I got a question for you. Can you do what China's doing in Africa? Not only is China revitalizing Africa, China is doing that in Baltic states, in Serbia, close to Croatia. I mean, even when the EU can't bail out, China got so much money, it can bail out. I mean, think about it. Look at Long that are part of mainland, you know, part of China, but in their own way, Macau. China got so much money that you can't talk. China own a lot of United States debt. So you again, if a country, and China was poor, this is what y'all don't understand. There was a point, even 40, 50 years ago, China was dirt poor. Dirt poor. Taiwan was dirt poor. There was even a time where you had some African countries that were stronger than the US dollar. Nigeria was like that. Rwanda is like that. Back in the 60s and the 70s, and when Liberia and them was popping, they wasn't trying to come to America and stay. Their economy was so good, they were coming to America and wanting to, some of them a lot of times, go back. Because the money was better in Nigeria than it was better here in America. But again, all of this corruption that y'all got going on over there, this is what y'all don't understand. Black communities and African communities, y'all keep being corrupt. So again, I can't blame the Chinese. Because people are going to treat you as they see you. If you don't make folks respect you, how are they supposed to treat you? They ain't gonna treat you nice. So again, I'm just, like I said, I see what he's saying. What he's saying does make sense. But you gotta really look at the big picture. China has really bailed out sub-Saharan Africa, more so than anybody. More so than any black country, more so than any African American diaspora. And China is letting us know that they themselves, who were poor 50 years ago, dirt poor, that black America and Africa itself can get itself together in a few years if we stop bullshitting. Ireland was another country just 20 years ago was dirt poor. Just 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they were real closed off to the world, Ireland, when they broke from Britain. Now Ireland is one of the richest countries in Europe. New Zealand was poor. All of these countries were dirt poor at one point, without having the same natural resources that Africa has. Uganda got every natural resource. I mean, Winston Churchill called it the Pearl of Africa. And they are one of the poorest nations in the country, in the world. That's a damn shame. And a lot of here's the thing. A lot of these countries that have become rich after colonization. So the British had Qatar, just like they had Uganda. Why is Qatar? I mean, you know, Nigeria had oil. Why is Nigeria messed up? Qatar got oil. They ain't got no more than Nigeria. So that's what I'm saying. We don't have no accountability in this. So again, I don't see you African Americans going to Africa. I mean, I didn't see y'all wanting to go to Africa 20 years ago. Y'all wasn't trying to go to Africa 25 years ago and do nothing. And y'all damn sure don't have the skill the Chinese do to do nothing in Africa. So just stop. And a lot of you Africans that do have skill to do something in Africa, you don't want to go. You like your new life over in the USA or in Great Britain, eating teas and crumpets and shit, talking shit. And when you go back to Africa, you take your $10,000 and go shopping like a little baller and then fly back to the United States. And I blame you as to why your countries and stuff look desolate. And that's how the Chinese gonna treat y'all. So that's all I gotta say. And if you upset with me, this is how I'd have been to Africa 3 times. So, you know what I mean? I'm not saying he's not right, but I heard Paris Milan's stuff too. Again, they only gonna treat you how you presenting yourself. So I gotta get up out of here, y'all. Peace.